given that Italian doctrine differs slightly, depending on where you are, different saints are more important. In Assisi, it's St. Francis. A lot of places, it's St. Mary, or while I was there, and it probably will still be this way, Padre Pio. He was a very recent one. 1960, he was actually excommunicated. But so many people began to follow him. He'd walk around doing miracles, and he had the stigmata, the marks of the crucifixion, which is a sign that he was allowed to participate in the suffering of Christ, which is a doctrine that they believe in, and that's very important to know, because that is why they hold Padre Pio in such esteem. They believe that the suffering was so great that even God himself could not bear all of it, which God himself being Christ, because they believe in the Trinity. Therefore, parts of this atonement were parceled out to saints. Now, depending on who you ask, it's different. Usually it's 3 different people. For most of them, it's Padre Pio, St. Francis, and St. Mary. They were 3 of the biggest. But when I was in Castellammare, San Catello was also introduced. He was a big saint down there, or San Gennaro. He was a big saint down there, which is why in the south you meet a lot of people named Catello or Gennaro. But depending on where you are, there are slightly different beliefs regarding this. But usually they believe that there are some people who have, I think 8 marks of the stigma. There's the spear between the ribs, the crucifixion marks in the hands and in the feet, the piercing of that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm missing a couple, but the piercing on the forehead where the crown of thorns was pushed on. And these different marks, which are supposed to signify that these people are particularly holy. Now, in almost all cases, they'll cover these marks up, because if you're not holy, you aren't supposed to see it. So, Padre Pio wore fingerless gloves all of his days. So the question is, did he really have a stigma? Did he not? And then when they were pulled off, of course, at death, all these wounds are healed. So maybe he actually did have a festering thing in his hand, and it was just, but they were expecting, I think, a hole all the way through. He did have something in his hand, some scarring at least, but depends on who you ask as to what was exactly in his palms and what that meant. But